Yes, you can learn languages in your sleep. Now, before anyone comments, no, this has nothing to do with playing audio while you sleep so you can learn through osmosis. That doesn't work. So what do I mean by learn languages in your sleep? Well, in this video, I'll show you how this works, and I'll give you the same strategies I used when learning Japanese. So in preparation for this video, I found an article done by the Harvard Gazette, where they interview a neurologist, Daniel Rubin, and he says, scientists studying laboratory animals long ago discovered a phenomenon known as replay that occurs during sleep. Replay is theorized to be a strategy the brain uses to remember new information. If a mouse is trained to find its way through a maze, monitoring devices can show that a specific pattern of brain cells, or neurons, will light up as it traverses the correct route. Then later on, while the animal is sleeping, you can see that those neurons will fire again in the same order. And I experienced this firsthand. It was about a month into Japanese where I suddenly had a dream. At first, it was a normal dream. I was just in a supermarket and I was going through the register, but all of a sudden the clerk started talking to me in perfect Japanese. But rather than get freaked out, I actually just started talking in perfect Japanese back to them. Did that mean I was fluent in Japanese? No, but it was an interesting phenomenon, and it made me start going down a rabbit hole. It made me question, is there a way that I could induce dreams? So yes, it is possible to induce dreams, and just like the example with the mouse, as they train them to go through the maze, those neurons fire while they sleep. So if you think about it that way, throughout your day, you're going through many different things, and when you fall asleep, your brain is reactivating those same neurons to learn from that day. So if you want to learn languages in your sleep, the surefire way to do that is to surround yourself in the language 24/7. But that's easier said than done. Most people can't do that. And even when I was studying like 5 hours a day, it's not like I could spend every waking moment surrounded by the language. So what would I do to induce those dreams? How would I maximize the power of sleeping to learn languages? So the first most important thing is just make sure you get good sleep. Because if you're too tired during the day, well, you're not going to be able to study well. And we've probably experienced this when we were in school. We had days where we didn't get good sleep and we're just gone the next day. We couldn't do anything. So you want to try to make sure that you could get a good routine. Now, I can't really talk too much about getting a good routine because my routines are terrible. So I'm not going to go into that in this video, but it is important to think about. The part that I do want to talk about is, what do you do before you go to bed? Because a lot of us, I mean, even me right now, I spend a little too much time on my phone. And sometimes when I'm trying to fall asleep, I'm just there scrolling, like the YouTube shorts. I hate the YouTube shorts. Sometimes I get stuck on that way too much. So rather than spending too much time on your phone right before you go to bed, what I would recommend that you do is do a study session right before you go to bed. And not like a Duolingo lesson. I mean a real study session where you just sit down and focus on the language for at least 20 minutes. Doing this right before you go to bed primes your brain to start thinking about the language. And as an extra bonus, you could actually play something in the background of Japanese speakers talking. Now, this isn't going to be something where you're going to learn it while you're sleeping, but it primes your mind to think about the language. Now, I do want to say, this shouldn't be the only study session you do throughout the entire day, because while we sleep, we replay the entire day throughout our heads. And if something major happened, well, we're probably going to be thinking about that more than the language. So it's a good idea to try and make the language you're learning a major part of your day. That way, by the time you get to bed and you also do another study session to prep your mind before you go to bed, it's more likely that you're going to be able to retain a lot of that information because you're surrounding yourself by it. Now, all of this said, you don't have to focus on making this happen. It's a small little extra thing to think about while you're learning languages, but the most important thing is the study time that you're actually doing during the day. Are you maximizing the effectiveness of that studying? So if you're just starting out, you might use something like textbooks. And if you're wondering, how do I maximize textbooks to get the most out of them? So you can watch this video where you could do just that. Now, I know many people do not enjoy textbooks, and this is not your normal textbook study. There's probably going to be something in there that you haven't tried yet. So go check it out. I guarantee it's worth your time.